Welcome again to the Writing with New Media, an Introduction to Multimodal Composing. And I'd asked you to look at two examples. One, a very personal one about a mother with very few artifacts being used, just two sheets of images, these polyphotos. In this one, it's also a personal story. He's really introducing more generally what's possible in digital storytelling, and the mix is what is maybe even more powerful in his project, because we've got a number of artifacts derived from a number of different sources and cut in. So the simplicity of the storytelling that we see in this example is not the way that this gentleman went. A very different way, a very interesting way. Whereas the story of placing it in history was so important. The materiality of the story in terms of what was left and the stories that are embedded in that thing that was left. This gentleman goes out and grabs artifacts from all over the place to help also place his life in a storyline and captivate us in these ways. You'll recall that he begins the story with images from his from what he said was his favorite movie, The Time Machine, and he shows the one of my favorite parts too is we hear a little bit of his audio from this video or from this movie that he is not really authorized to use. It is still, as I understand it, in copyright, but one of the many options with digital storytelling is the complexity of fair use. That doesn't mean that our students can do whatever they want, but it does mean that there are more options than maybe they may think. He says that digital storytelling allows us to create our own time machines, and so his story overlays this, but it also kind of introduces as the theme, as the point of view, the point of view that's offered through media. In terms of his own life and the timeline that ran alongside these things. These are the things that he watched. These are the things that influenced him. Some of the things in public domain, some of the things not certain. So sometimes he keeps the original audio, sometimes he doesn't, but he has merged together multiple images or multiple videos that help establish the timeline in these very big ways. Casablanca, again, a mix-in that is not necessarily okay, but it is a form of what the Duke Law Center calls pushback. He talks about the things that he viewed around the television set with his family. We've got a further establishment of these timelines. We have a point of view. We have a dramatic question, his life, and the role of media within his life as he weaves these elements of media throughout it. The emotional content we see here in pop culture, we see in earlier in the frame an assassination. We see the tragedy of over time that's important. Sports and breaking news and sound clear, perpetual, these important people. Audio from an I Have a Dream speech woven in with these other audios, and here is just a still image that's brought in with the others. And so I think that if we're looking at here's his own story. This is not really a story about his own story, but it's a story about the power of digital storytelling to help him do that. It does have economy in a sense. The pacing is there. The sound is rich and complex, and it is a very different way of telling story than this one. The complexity here, though, is that whether or not he has the right to draw from these elements, and according to what we know about the copyright law, and I've given you some information on that, it is fair use, and there's a level of pushback that we can work with.